Every now and then you hear a story that just sounds impossible. This is one of those stories. It's about a boy from a tiny village with no electricity whose family lost literally everything, who then somehow went on to co-found a multi-billion rupee snack empire. But this isn't fiction. This is the real, incredible story of Balaji Wafers.
Just look at this contrast. It is mind-boggling. We're talking about a family of farmers who lost all their land to a terrible drought back in the 70s, all the way to a company that today goes head-to-head with giants like PepsiCo, pulling in revenue of over 6,000 crore rupees.
So, the big question is, how? How does a story like that even happen? What are the steps that turn that kind of crushing hardship into a success story for the ages? All right, let's dive into this journey and really unpack the core principles that made it all possible. To really get a sense of what they accomplished, we have to rewind. We're going all the way back to the early 1970s, to a small village in Gujarat. And this story, it doesn't start with a big dream. It starts with a crisis. The Virani family, they were farmers. Their entire lives revolved around the rain. But when the rains failed, not for just one season, but for two, their crops just withered. The land turned to dust. They lost everything. Can you imagine? It was a moment of pure desperation. So with absolutely nothing left, their father, Balaji Virani, he sold the last piece of barren land they owned. He called his sons together, handed them 20,000 rupees, which was every single thing he had left in the world. And he told them, go to the city of Rajkot. Go make a life for yourselves. He put the family's entire future in their hands.
But, arriving in the big city wasn't some fairy tale ending. They had a little bit of money, but almost no experience in business. Their first attempt, selling farm equipment, it completely failed within 2 years after a trader scammed them. And just like that, the 20,000 rupees was gone.
So there they were, no money, and one of the brothers, Chandu Bhai, only had a 10th grade education. So he did what he had to do. He took any job he could get. He ended up working as a canteen boy at the local Astron cinema for just 90 rupees a month. He was doing everything, serving food, pasting movie posters, checking tickets. He even stayed late to repair the torn seats after the shows.
And this experience, this is what forged their very first core principle. Work is worship. For them, no job was too small. No task was beneath them. Whatever work was in front of them, they just did it with total honesty and dedication, never even asking for extra pay. They didn't have to brag or ask for anything. Their work ethic was so obvious. And you know what? People noticed that kind of thing. The owner of the cinema saw their integrity and how hard they worked. And he was so impressed that in 1976, he handed the entire canteen contract over to the brothers. This was it, their first real break, and it came from nothing but pure hard work.
Now this is where things get really interesting, because it was a simple, everyday problem that became the spark for their entire empire. They didn't go out looking for some grand business idea. The idea found them, born out of pure frustration.
Okay, so one of the most popular snacks they sold at the canteen was potato wafers, potato chips. But they had this huge problem. Their supplier was always late. So they switched to a second supplier and then a third. It was the same story every single time. Deliveries were unreliable and the quality was all over the place.
And this is where their second mantra comes into play. Instead of just worrying and stressing about the problem, they contemplated it. They had this belief that when nature closes one door, it always opens another one somewhere else. This annoying supply problem, it wasn't just a headache. It was a hidden opportunity. And it all came down to one simple question that changed absolutely everything. They were so frustrated with relying on other people, they just thought, why don't we make our own? Now, Chandu Bhai has this interesting theory that really smart, highly educated people often get stuck in business because they analyze everything to death. They get paralyzed by all the what-ifs. So his philosophy became their third mantra, just jump in. Once you see a chance and have a basic idea of how to do it, the most important thing is to just start. And that is exactly what they did. They jumped right in, they invested 10,000 rupees and built a small shed in their backyard to start production. After finishing their long shifts at the cinema, they would stay up all night just experimenting, peeling, slicing, frying potatoes. It was endless trial and error, but eventually they perfected their own recipe and people absolutely loved it. So now they had a product that people really wanted.
They started supplying it to other local shops, and they named their brand Balaji Wafers, after a small temple inside the cinema canteen. But going from a backyard hobby to a real business, that came with a whole new world of challenges. And man, they ran into every problem you can imagine. Shopkeepers would return packets that were half-eaten, claiming they were stale. Some would just lie and say they'd already paid them when they hadn't. And later on, when they took out a huge loan to build their first factory in 1989, the brand new machines were constantly breaking down.
So what was their solution? They just took control. They didn't give up. They bypassed the dishonest shopkeepers by selling their wafers directly to customers from bicycles and rickshaws. And that broken down factory equipment, Chandu, the guy with the 10th grade education, he studied the machines himself until he learned how to fix them. This total dedication is their fourth mantra, an unwavering focus, or what they call dun. It's like a complete obsession with your mission. This focus was so intense that when a massive multinational company offered to buy them out later, they said no. Why? Because their customers had written them letters, begging them not to sell, terrified that the quality and the price would change. They chose their customers over a massive payday. So how in the world did they build such a massive, loyal base of customers and a business that could actually compete with global corporations? Well, it all boils down to their final and maybe their most important guiding principle.
It's a complete flip of how most companies think. Their philosophy isn't about pushing a product on people with aggressive sales teams, it's about pulling them in. They believe their job is to provide service. You make a product so good, so consistent, and so affordable that the demand just comes naturally. Their distributors don't really have to sell, they just have to deliver.
And this is the absolute heart of their business. They have this saying, most people are busy chasing Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth. But they believe you should focus on Narayana, which for them represents your work, your team, your customers, your service. If you get that part right, Lakshmi, the wealth, it'll follow you all on its own. And that philosophy of service, it even applies to their own family. Balaji Wafers is still a family-run business, and Chandu explains their unity with this really powerful analogy. He says that in the epic Mahabharata, the constant fighting over what is mine versus what is mine led to destruction for everyone. But in the Ramayana, the attitude was always, no, this is yours. And that spirit of cooperation saved everyone. It's about putting the team over your own ego. From a dried-up farm to a 6,000 crore rupee empire, the Virani brothers' journey wasn't about some grand, complicated vision from day one. It all started because they were just trying to solve one small, annoying problem: how to get a reliable bag of potato chips. It really makes you wonder, what's the small, frustrating problem in your own life that's just waiting for a solution?